At the 6th edition of the CEO Africa Roundtable right here in the resort town of Victoria Falls. Right now I'm joined by the Commissioner General of the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority, Ms. Faith Mazani. Ms. Mazani, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Marion. It's nice to be with you again.
It's great to have you here. As ZIMRA, you've launched your 5-year strategic plan from 2019 to 2023. If you may just share with us some of the targeted milestones in this strategic plan.
I think as ZIMRA, we are going through a very exciting time. Our last strategic plan ended in December 2018 when we launched our new strategic plan. And as we launched this at a very opportune time and a very critical time of the new Second Republic and the new dispensation, we launched our strategic plan focusing on supporting the Vision 2030, which was announced by the President, His Excellency, President Mnangagwa. And the theme for Vision 2030 is towards a prosperous and empowered upper middle income society by 2030. You are also aware that the Minister of Finance announced the Transitional Stabilization Program, and in order to support the TSP, we then chose 3 pillars that are from the TSP, and these are ease of doing business, restoration of fiscal balance, and plugging the revenue leakages. And since last year, we focused our efforts and our strategies anchored on 4 Ps, which are the people, processes, partnerships, and projects. These informed our strategic planning process because we wanted to identify the critical areas that we needed to attend to. On the people issues, we realized the importance of our staff and strengthening our service delivery through capacitating our staff and making sure that they are ready to offer the service, the good service that we need to give to our taxpayers. Under processes, we realize that as ZIMRA, we have had many challenges with our systems, our IT systems, so we are enhancing our processes through developments in our IT space. We had a number of challenges at the end of 2017 with the Askuda system, but we started an upgrade program. Our taxpayers have had many challenges with our e-platform, so these are areas that we are working on and re-engineering our processes. We also are enhancing our relationships with our taxpayers and developing strategic partnerships. We now look at our taxpayers as our partners towards the contribution of revenue. They pay, we facilitate them. And we also do this through engaging with our stakeholders, our Ministry of Finance, industry, and other stakeholders that have got a regulatory role to our taxpayers and implementing our mandate as ZIMRA. Then projects, we have a number of things that we have to do, and we are using the project management framework so that we deliver efficiently all the projects that we have, whether it's infrastructure at our border posts, whatever we are rolling out our IT systems. So those are our key pillars. And these are towards growing the tax base and enhancing integrated data management, enhancing service delivery and taxpayer education, increasing security and agility in the international flow of goods and persons. And these are very key areas or focus areas that we focused on in developing our strategic plan.
SMEs have become a major player in Zimbabwe's economy. Are SMEs paying tax?
Thank you very much, Marion. That's a very critical question. I think a lot of us are aware that our economy has become informalized, which means the businesses that were operating, the big businesses, are no longer the ones that are actually anchoring our economy. We have a number of players that are participating in the economy. You asked the question whether SMEs are contributing to tax. I would say a very big positive yes. SMEs or small businesses contribute from this, in the sense that they are a number of taxes that we have. The good thing about our tax system and its structure is that we have a balanced tax mix, which is income tax from businesses, income tax from employment income, VAT, which are consumption taxes, and now we do have, and there are other, we do have the 2%. There are other withholding taxes that different taxpayers do pay. A small business is paying their tax in terms of VAT. They are, when they buy their supplies from wherever they get them, even from formalized businesses, from other informal businesses, they do make their own payment. When they buy from registered, VAT registered businesses, they are charged VAT and they can't claim it back, which means they have made a contribution. Withholding taxes, when a taxpayer has not submitted a tax clearance certificate, there is a requirement that there is a withholding tax that they have to pay, that is the VAT and other taxes. So because we have this withholding tax system, a number of the taxes are paid which the small businesses have to pay as well. They pay their duties when they import goods. I think we have cross-border traders who are involved in businesses and who go out and they come back and they pay their duties. So yes, they do. Where we find the small businesses may not be paying is the income tax. But we need to realize that income tax is only paid when there is net income, which is the profits after deducting a number of expenses. This is done through the submission of books and records, profit, where there is the profit and loss established. But that is the biggest challenge that the small businesses have. They don't have the capacity to do the books and records, to hire bookkeepers and accountants. So they fail to submit their returns. We would want to have a simplified tax for the small businesses. And this is where we are having discussions with the Minister of Finance to find a policy position which can bring in the small businesses as taxpayers, but with the least cost to their tax-paying culture or responsibility. So it's something that the policymakers have to assist with in coming up with. We do have the presumptive tax, but it's only for a few selected sectors like the hair salons and others. But in terms of the other retail businesses, we need to come up with a simplified tax that they can pay without having to incur a lot of compliance costs.
Let's talk about the strategies that you're going to employ as ZIMRA to grow your revenue base.
The major problem that we have is that we have very few taxpayers who are complying and contributing. And this does not just mean the small businesses, the big businesses which are also not complying. What we have found is that we have been relying on auditing as a way of bringing in the taxpayers into the tax base, but we only audit those that have already submitted their returns. So in order to expand our tax base, we are using big data, if I can use that term, where we will reach out to different stakeholders that deal with the taxpayers, whether it's registration of businesses, the company registry, registration of vehicles, CVR, where we then establish who is registering those assets and where whether they are actually on our database. We bring them on the database, we engage them, and we are going to use this even with our own data. Those people that are importing goods, the big importers, are they on our database? And this is something that we're calling data matching. And we are also going to be reaching out to those that are evading tax. And this we are doing through some of the systems that we've put in place, where we have intelligence information which is coming to us through the whistleblowers, through our hotline, and we actually go out and investigate. And we are doing lifestyle audits to bring those taxpayers on board. But the biggest strategy that we've put in place to increase our revenue is to promote voluntary compliance. A lot of the taxpayers that are not paying is not because they don't want to or they're crooks. It's because they don't have the information. And we are promoting voluntary compliance by expanding our taxpayer education, giving a lot of information. We will be putting a lot of information through the different media platforms for taxpayers to know their responsibilities and their obligations. And this, I hope, is going to motivate a lot of us who are not contributing to tax.
Speaking of voluntary compliance, what is its importance?
We have an economy to build. We have to improve the lives of our people. And all that can only be done if we all contribute to tax. So it is important for us all to pay our taxes. Those of us in employment, yes, it's being deducted, but those in business, a lot of people in business, whether it's farming, mining, tourism, safari, and whatever, are supposed to be paying their taxes. And we need to do it at the least cost. When we have to audit as ZIMRA, it costs us. We need vehicles to go out there. But also as taxpayers, when you are audited and you are penalized, it's a cost to your business. So we want taxpayers to come forward. And what we are doing is to give as much information, to educate our taxpayers on what they are supposed to do. And that will improve and motivate our taxpayers. Like I said earlier, it's not all taxpayers who are not paying who want to evade, but some are doing it because they don't have information. We also want to make it clear to taxpayers that it is a national obligation, a fiscal responsibility for everybody to pay their taxes. We will have to enforce so that taxpayers know that if I don't pay my taxes, there is a penalty. So they come voluntarily. So this is why we then end up prosecuting taxpayers who have not come forward. We are doing lifestyle audits for those that we are not very sure how they are getting their money, and we want them to account for their tax. But we would rather taxpayers come forward, approach us, and if they approach us voluntarily and disclose their information, even if we have to audit, then we will not penalize them as much. And I would like to really end by encouraging all Zimbabweans, all peace-loving and patriotic Zimbabweans to really ensure that they are paying their taxes. It's easier for us when they come forward on their own.
Ms. Mazani, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Mariam.
I was speaking there to Ms. Faith Mazani, who is the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority Commissioner General. And of course, as ZIMRA, they are here to serve.